All right, guys. So I did a video about this, speculating that this could happen this weekend, and then lo and behold, the MLB has moved their 2021 All-Star Game from Atlanta. Wow. And obviously, this is in response to Georgia's election integrity law that everybody's so upset by, right? Everybody's saying that, it disenfranchises black people, it keeps black people from voting. And honestly, I'm just not buying it, right? I'm just not buying it, okay? If I felt like something was actually racist, I would tell you that it's racist, right? But this ain't it, Chief, right? That ain't it, Chief. But I'll get into more of that. But first, let's talk about the MLB and their statement that they released regarding moving out the All-Star game, okay? So, quote, over the last week, we have engaged in thoughtful conversations with clubs, former and current players, the Players Association, and the Players Alliance, among others, to listen to their views. I have decided that the best way to demonstrate our values as a sport is by relocating this year's All-Star Game and MLB draft. Major League Baseball fundamentally supports voting rights for all Americans and opposes restrictions to the ballot box. In 2020, MLB became the first professional sports league to join the nonpartisan Civic Alliance to help build a future in which everyone participates in shaping the United States. We proudly use our platform to encourage baseball fans and communities throughout our country to perform their civic duty and actively participate in the voting process. Fair access to voting continues to have our game's unwavering support. We will continue with our plans to celebrate the memory of Hank Aaron during this season's All-Star festivities. In addition, MLB's planned investments to support local communities in Atlanta as a part of our All-Star Legacy projects will move forward. We are finalizing a new host city, and details about these events will be announced shortly. Okay. All right. So it seems like they're trying to thread the needle here. Okay, because my biggest beef with all these companies, right, that are thinking about pulling out of Atlanta, right, and Georgia because of these vote ID laws is that you're not going to change anything. They're not going to change the law. They're not going to repeal the law. You're not going to change anything. The only thing you're going to do is that you're going to hurt the entrepreneurs and the business owners in Georgia, right? People who have nothing to do with this law, who did not pass this law, who have nothing to do with it, they're the ones that's going to be hurt. Now, the MLB is trying to balance, right? They say, well, we're going to continue to support our planned investments to local communities in Atlanta. But that cannot replace the traffic and the crowd and the tourism that the MLB All-Star Game would have brought to Atlanta, the local economy. Okay? Those local restaurants, those businesses that are opening back up, as the economy starts to open back up, that would have been a great boost for them. Again, a lot of those businesses, black owned, okay? In the process of trying to help black people vote, right? Which apparently, for whatever reason, it's so hard for black people to get an ID. Only thing the Georgia law did was, it's like, the vote absentee ballot, you just got to use your ID. That's all it is. That's all. It's just requiring an ID. The whole food and line thing has been debunked. Okay? You just can't have strangers passing out food in line. The poll workers can if they want to. You can bring your own food. All that stuff has been debunked. The ballot drop-off spots, debunked. Okay? You can drop off your ballot at any election office. Again, these people are trying to make something out of nothing. And it's so frustrating, especially as a black person, because it's like, how stupid and helpless do you think black people are? That black people are not smart enough to, if they really feel like they're being disenfranchised by this law, to just know the rules, know the games, and to beat these people at their own game. If you really do feel like this is discrimination. I mean, I personally don't. Hey, I get why they're doing it, right? I understand. Most people support vote ID laws. Even black folks support vote ID laws. Anybody with common sense you should want to have an ID before you vote, right? To identify who you are. But for whatever reason, there's this perception among the liberals and these big woke companies that black people can't do anything for themselves. They got to have a booster seat for everything, including the go vote. It's sickening. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, man. I mean, even Stacey Abrams doesn't agree with this.
I understand the passion of those calling for boycotts of Georgia following the passage of SB 202. Boycotts have been an important tool throughout our history to achieve social change. But here's the thing. Black, Latino, AAPI, and Native American voters whose votes are the most suppressed under SB 202 are also the most likely to be hurt by potential boycotts of Georgia. To our friends across the country, please do not boycott us.
She's like, hey, please don't boycott us. I don't like the law either, but please don't boycott us. Because even she's smart enough to know the damage that this is going to cause to black communities, the amount of revenue that's going to be missed out from this type of stuff. And again, who knows? Maybe nobody would have went to the MLB All-Star game because, the MLB, they've kind of been struggling in and of themselves. But they're leading the way for more companies to do this. They're leading the way. Only thing you're going to do, you're going to hurt black people in the process. And many other minority groups and business owners, including white folks, you're going to hurt a whole lot of people. A whole lot of people that had nothing to do with this. And also on top of that with MLB, it's funny because does the MLB, can they really afford to piss off their fan base? I can imagine that there are probably a lot of conservatives that watch baseball, right? That are baseball fans. Can they afford to piss off this audience? You saw what happened to the NBA. And the NBA fans are woke, right? A lot of NBA fans are woke, young kids. And look what happened to them. Look what happened to the NFL. Can the MLB afford to go down this route? Again, I don't understand why all these companies want to be so political for. Again, guys, I've ragged against corporate influence in politics, but this has been taken to a whole new level. This is a whole new level of influence. These people literally said, we don't like a law that you passed, therefore we're going to exert power to try to make you change it. Right? Again, you should not want that type of corporate power over politics. And don't get me wrong. Listen, I understand companies have the right to do whatever they want to do. Like, I get it. I understand. But they're doing it purely for political reasons. Purely for political reasons. But hey, who knows? I mean, the double-edged sword to this could be that, the Republicans might be less business friendly, right? If all these corporations go woke and everything the Republicans do that people feel are racist, that these companies try to boycott, who knows? Republicans, they'll give you a tax cut. GOP will give you a tax cut, just like with Delta. They basically threaten them. It's like, hey, listen, y'all keep talking. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Because again, we know how business friendly the Republican Party is. And y'all really want to come at the Republican Party like that? I don't know. Just saying. I don't know if this is a game you want to play. Because you want to play the money game, the Republicans can play the money game. I can tell you that right now. And my question is, where the hell are you going to move to? Where you going? Because 18 states have strict photo ID requirements. 7 have not strict photo ID required. 12 have no photo ID required. 13 have no ID required to vote. So where you going to go? Where you going to go? You can go to a swing state like Ohio that requires a photo ID? Huh? You can go to Michigan. That's basically a swing state. Voters must show an acceptable photo by ID to receive a ballot for all elections. Huh? You gonna go there? Is that racist? Is Michigan racist? Oh, what about Rhode Island? Photo ID required to vote. Acceptable identification includes a driver's license, passport, military ID, any other government ID with a photo and current address. Voters without ID may vote by provisional ballot that will be counted if the signature match the voter registration record. So is Rhode Island racist now too against black folks? What about New Hampshire? New Hampshire requires photo ID. Huh? What about Arizona? That requires a photo ID. All these states are requiring photo IDs. You know, the only states that's not, the no ID required, you got California, Oregon, Washington, New York, these lunatic liberal blue states. Yeah, they might not require anything. But most of the other states with common sense require photo ID. Photo ID is supported by the American people. Nobody wants you going up to the ballot voting without an ID. We need to know who you are. But apparently that's racist. And for the black folks that don't find how offensive this is, I don't know what to tell you, man. I really don't. Why is it that these people think that we can't do nothing? We can't do nothing. We can't overcome any obstacle that's put in front of us. And I wouldn't even argue this is an obstacle for black people, right? I mean, come on. I mean, y'all got all the money in the world. You got all the celebrities on your side. You got all the woke companies on your side. Everybody without a photo ID, buy them one. Get them one. Get them a photo ID. Organize. Get people to the polls and vote. If you feel like it's that important, then you fight back. But what you don't do is you don't hurt those who have nothing to do with this to try to make a statement. Because those are the people that's hurting. Those are the people that's hurting. The people that are hurting are the ones that need the business, that need the tourism. But you don't care about that. You want to make a statement. It's the same thing with Draymond when he said, you know, a lot of these people that are pro-women's empowerment are just using it to their advantage without supporting women, right? They don't buy tickets to go to the games. They don't buy merchandise. They just use it to their advantage. This is the exact same thing. Because if the MLB really cared about black people, they would have kept the All-Star game there. You know what they would have done? They would have organized to get people to vote in the next election, to get them access to their IDs. If they really wanted to make the change, they would support the economy and do whatever they need to do to make the changes that they want to make. What they wouldn't do is pull out. All pulling out does, it's a show. It's a show to say, oh, well, we're woke. We're with you. Wink, wink. That's all it is. But I don't know how many woke people watch baseball. I don't know. But we about to find out. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.